corporate culture is built and or destroyed in the details, in the small stuff, in the little things.
Yeah.
It's not the big thing.
Welcome to the Golden Group Neo Marketing Podcast, a bi-weekly discussion of best practices, latest trends, and modern techniques for professional business communication, including advertising, marketing, digital channels, social media, public relations, and alternative options.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Neo Marketing Podcast. My name is Kyle Golding. This is the Professor Pritchard, APR, PRSA Fellow. How are you today, Pritch?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Fantastic.
Sounded like you were in slow motion there for just a second.
You know, it's summertime, and I'm just trying to get in the mood and the mode and the flow. You know how it goes, right? So today I want to talk about corporate culture.
Cool.
Obviously, with a lot of people going back, there's been a lot of people working from home and
Right.
virtual offices and all the
Right.
thing over the last about 18 months. A lot of people
starting to transition back now.
Now we're transitioning back, right? So corporate culture is going to become more of something that becomes part of the conversation. And what you had previously might not come back with you.
Right.
Because
I would opine it's not going to come back.
now we say all the time, right? There's no such thing as the new normal.
Normal is normal.
There is no new normal.
Right.
Everything is different. Everything is new. Everything is moving forward.
Absolutely.
So you're absolutely in a different situation than you were pre-COVID, if you will. But all we need to focus on is how to do today forward. What came before doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Yep.
Now, if you could keep the best aspects of your former corporate culture, that's fantastic. But you also have to be developing new and the future-looking corporate culture as well.
Yeah.
And where people mess up when it comes to corporate culture is they get the big things, the monthly birthdays and the end of the year celebrations and summertime spring break, festivals and all kinds of fun little things like that allow the heads, the top, the C-suite to sort of offer some benevolence to everyone in the organization.
Right.
And that's easy to do, and it's a great starting place. I'm not saying don't do that, but it's just a starting place. Real corporate culture is built organically, and it's built from the bottom up. It's built grassroots. Absolutely, right? So I have recently witnessed, and I'm going to try not to give too many details. I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus here, but I'm going to give you just enough details to understand a business that is ruining their own corporate culture. And a completely different business that actually is building corporate culture in a really great way. So I'm going to give you two examples that will be something we can learn from, that an educational moment, that the right way of doing thing and the wrong way of doing thing. But I really want everyone to focus today on the ideas and the concept behind corporate culture is built and or destroyed in the details, in the small stuff, in the little things. It's not the big things. It's not the monthly birthdays and the end of year celebrations and Christmas bonuses. Those things happen. But it's the little details that either build up your corporate culture organically and from the grassroots, or chisel away at what you're building in ways that you don't understand if you're not paying attention. And so that we want to give you guys the details today of how to pay attention, how to capitalize on these details to do your best job of building corporate culture, and how to avoid the mistakes that people are making.
There you go.
Makes sense, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So you choose. Do we want to start with a positive example or the negative example? The negative example.
Right.
Okay.
And we'll end on a high note.
There we go. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense as well. So, and again, I'm going to give you guys enough details to understand this type of business without telling you who they are. I'm not trying to throw any individuals under the bus here. So it's a national business. They have a singular corporate headquarters, and they have people positioned all over the country. About 15 satellite offices that are sales territories.
Okay.
So about 10 to 15 people that work in the corporate office, a couple of people in the C-suite, a few mid-management, and a lot of worker bees, if you will.
Gotcha.
And then you have people from all around the country that randomly are in corporate office for a day or two or once a month and in an annual training, etc. So in the corporate office itself, and so you have C-suite, you have CEO and the CTO and the whoever else is up
CFO.
in there. So the CFO.
COO.
Yes, exactly. The CFO. That was the one I was missing there. And so you have them here, right, the top. Then we have a lot of people that are managing sort of the day-to-day work process, managing sales, marketing, bringing income in, being accountable, all of those things, right? There's also a couple of entry-level positions, hourly pay, low scale, part-time jobs. And those positions typically are sort of what you would call an assistant. One being an office assistant who has some assigned task and some other mundane duties that essentially no one up the food chain really wants to take the time to do. And then the other one is sort of a personal assistant to the C-suite, to the folks in the C-suite. But there's a lot of like, just take care of stuff kind of things from this person. And again, it's an hourly job. It's probably the smallest paycheck in the entire company as far as the take home is. It's low pressure, low expectation, hourly entry-level work. But everyone likes the person who does it. But because the job isn't very structured, because it's different every day, there isn't a set expectation every day. But come in and see what needs to be done is the job expectation. Which sounds simple, right? And it sounds like, okay, no big deal. Most offices have someone who's sort of everything kind of rolls down to them that no one else is taking care of. But that person considers themselves part of the team, as they should. And so in the conversations of we're working together as a team, they count themselves as a team member. Now, here's the problem.
Okay, everything sounds good so far.
Now, here's the real problem. Because it's low expectation position, because there isn't a set 9 to 5, if you don't have these things done, why would you think about going home? This individual really takes advantage of, I'm done, I should just go home, as opposed to pitching in other areas or asking for other responsibilities, etc. This person's also very quick to point out holidays and things of that nature, quick to take a sick day, quick to take a vacation day, quick to just call in one day. I don't think I have anything happening today, so I'm just not coming in. Right? And as your reactions are implying, the other employees in the business see this. They see this happening.
They resent the heck out of it.
Yes, they do. They do resent it. So from a 30,000-foot level, it's a almost meaningless position. It's, again, low expectation, low income. So the C-suite folks assume no one cares that guy leaves early, comes in late, and it doesn't really pull much weight because the C-suite also assumes everyone in the company sees it the way they do, which is that person makes very little money. There's no room for them to advance, etc. And they're doing the menial tasks. They're doing the very unglamorous work that no one else wants to do. Not the case though. Employees are human beings.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, even though they all make more money and they have better jobs than that person, they all take it a little bit personally when he shows up late, when he leaves early, when he skips out, when he doesn't play his role on the team.
Not playing by the same rules.
Exactly. This person
and
also...
management has allowed this to go on to the point.
Not only have they allowed it to go on, a few times they have reprimanded him verbally, even attempted to let him go, and then backed back off of that, allowed him to, if you'll do better in the future, but he has not done better in the future. So setting a poor example of talking your way out of deserved reprimands or even a dismissal. So you can imagine what that's doing to the people in the corporate office.
Absolutely. Everybody else is looking at this going, unfair, in all caps.
And what's one of your favorite phrases, talking over the back fence? So people in corporate see this every day. They resent it. Of course, people in corporate also speak to everyone else around the country who doesn't see it every day. And then the piece de resistance, the thing that caught my attention was they all come together for a corporate training. So everyone is there and everyone is supposed to be getting better from their job coming out of the training session. And better relationships with the people from all around the country, and the people don't get to see each other, talk to each other on a regular basis. But instead, there was still a lot of focus on, but he gets away with murder.
Gotcha. So it turned from training to grape session.
Right. So airing dirty laundry, right? And talking over the back fence.
Yeah.
So the lesson learned, folks, your corporate culture, it comes from the grassroots up. It comes from every employee and what their take is on what it's like to work there.
Right.
That's part of your corporate culture, whether you like it or not. As the C-suite, you can't be iron-fisted in the directive of what corporate culture is,
right?
But not pay attention to these type of details.
Right.
Not understanding that small things, little things like coming in late and leaving early,
right?
Taking extra days off, not being a team member, but sort of being recognized as a team member. All of these tiny, small details to the C-suite are actually very corrosive to the team and to the corporate culture.
Well, a drip of water will over time erode to the Grand Canyon.
Yes.
Hello.
So that is my negative example of if you miss these small details, if you don't pay attention, and if you don't actually communicate with your employees, take their actual feedback, even if it's grumbling under their voice, and investigate the details behind it.
Right.
You can't build that amazing corporate culture that's going to uplift every member of your team and make you one of the most desirable places to work.
Right.
And you won't retain those employees, etc., if you don't pay attention to the smallest details.
Absolutely.
So that's our negative
and
example.
playing fair.
Right.
Rules are for everybody.
At the end of the day, it's human beings, right?
Yeah,
your employees are human beings, obviously. And the idea of because your job title is different, your department is different, if your income level is different, is not enough if people feel like they are burdening more of the load than someone else who then gets the credit for the load.
So it's a leadership failure that's undermining corporate culture.
Yes.
So, hear that? Guys need to lead.
Right. Leadership. Decision making. Being definitive. And paying attention to details.
Bam. Okay.
Now, flip side.
So that's the bad news.
That was the bad news. Here's the good news. Here's the great example. Here's our next bit of a learning experience. This is a different company altogether. This company has, again, a couple of people at the top, kind of what you would call the C-suite, and then a lot of worker bees, a lot of people who are doing what you would consider entry-level manual labor. But
anybody in the middle?
Not enough, and that's a whole different conversation.
Okay.
But not enough people in the middle. But the folks at the top, the owners, are extremely hands-on.
Gotcha.
They really are trying to do the right thing in the right way.
Right.
And they know what they know what they don't know, and they're working on it all the time. So what happened
and this is obvious to everybody else in the company.
It is because I happened upon one day a meeting of all the employees. The owner is addressing all the employees. I found out later after having the conversation with the owner of the business that this was a monthly thing. But because I was in an adjacent space, and I know the owner of the business, this isn't a random stranger I just walked up to and started talking to.
Right.
They were having their monthly meeting discussing what's going well, what's not going well. He was listening to their feedback as to how they're actually executing their jobs, if they have the right tools, if they have the right number of team members, etc. Then the owner of the company shared the previous month's sales projections, actuals, profitability.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Didn't share it with just the C-suite.
Right.
Didn't share it with upper management. Shared the income to every single employee in the organization, which a majority of them would be considered non-management.
Right.
And I was very, very impressed by this. So, of course, I had to ask him later how he got to that decision-making process, because so many people, especially it seems the bigger the business and the more layers of management you get, the less likely upper management wants to share complete transparency all the way down to the most entry-level position.
The P&L, absolutely.
Right. But he was doing that and doing it, his idea to do so, and through the conversation I had with him, the pride in the role of each employee, the pride in their job and the ownership of what they do, getting employees to think more like the ownership team and less like hourly employees, to invest themselves, to have personal pride in what they do, personal pride in the business succeeding. all of those things came from the transparency that the owner was displaying, the honesty, the transparency, etc. Also, as he tries to train up some of the better employees to maybe become some of those middle management team leaders, middle management, eventually maybe creating a middle management layer in the company. He wants to promote from within. He wants to train them up from within. And this extreme transparency is the first step in for the employees to understand there is a process of getting better, becoming closer to the owner in the chain of command, working your way up, again, because of pride of ownership in your role, of not just 9 to 5ing it, showing up, clocking in, do the job, clock out, turn your back and go home, but really thinking about the business as a business whole. And not simply, we're really busy. I think the boss probably has a bunch of money in his pocket and I'm not getting enough, or I need a raise, or whatever it is. So I was very impressed that at a situation, a business model that most people would not expect that much transparency at all. The owner was fully transparent and is seeing very positive feedback and results from those hourly and entry-level employees since doing so.
Awesome. Does he help them see where they fit into the big picture as well?
He is. He's really good at that, about talking to people about their strengths and weaknesses, about what kind of dreams they have, aspirations for themselves. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Those kind of things.
This is textbook.
It is. And it's a type of business and a type of industry that you would totally not expect it. The type of thing where you expect them to kind of assembly line through a new employee. If you don't like it, you can get out. There's a dime a dozen, right? I'll hire another one. He has the exact...
Not so easy today,
not these days, but he has the exact opposite take. He's retaining more. He's developing talent up. Eventually, all of his team leaders started as day one. Never worked here before. I'm on day one. Now they've elevated themselves to team leaders. Those team leaders can eventually become middle management, eventually upper management. I could see him as the kind of guy that if the company started making extreme amounts of profit, I'm pretty sure the attitude would carry over into sharing dividends, profit sharing, etc., which then would very much motivate those what you refer to as your regular employees in order to stake themselves in. So I was super impressed with his initiative, with his transparency, with his open-mindedness, and thinking about what his business needs in 5 years today. Not simply just doing the same thing, doing the routine, get the job done, meet the quota, meet the numbers, and then we can move on from there. They're doing that, but he's trying to develop the next generation of leadership within the company. He could hire someone. He could bring in someone like us, or he could bring in someone with experience from another company. But you still have to hope that they fit your corporate culture when that happens. If he's developing from the ground up
inside,
then the corporate culture piece is automatic. And all you have to do is develop the skill set. The attitude is there. Corporate culture is there. Just develop their skill set. And if you're investing in your team to this point already, developing training and investing in anything that would help them be better professionals, it's going to come along with that conversation.
Absolutely.
So I was super impressed with that.
That's cool. And he's retaining people, which is critically important today.
So yes, it's so much more cost effective to retain employees than to churn employees.
If you could find one, find somebody.
And that's the thing, right? If you can find people that you like, you trust, that they do their job well, they just maybe don't have all the skill sets they need to become a team leader or middle management. Well, adding skills is the easy part. Finding people you trust and like and want to work with is the hard part.
Absolutely.
And of course, but it also allows you too, if someone can't come along with the program, isn't willing to work that way, is clock watching, 9 to 5ing in and out. Eventually, they're going to work themselves out of that position because all of their buddies, everyone who started at the same time or even after them, has moved on and advanced and has left them in the dust.
Well, and if as you picked up that he talks strengths and weaknesses with all of his employees, and if he's that candid, then hey, it's not working.
He's that kind of boss who would come in with a book or a podcast or something like that to say, you know what, I think you would enjoy this because of their personality, because of their skill set, because of who they're trying to become within the company and within a career.
Absolutely.
So
good stuff.
That's a great example. That's the one you want to do a lot more of. You want to do a lot less of the first one, but it goes back to, again, the idea is that corporate cultures are made or devalued, chipped away at in the details, in the small things. It's not just the big giant stuff. You can start there, but paying attention to your people, communicating, two-way conversations, actually making changes to the company, to your approach to business, all of that, because that's what your employees need and want and desire, and it makes them feel a part of the team, makes them invest themselves in the process. That's corporate culture. Ping pong tables and balloon festivals and all of that kind of stuff. That's just stuff. It's not corporate culture.
Exactly.
Corporate culture is paying attention to the people and giving them what they want and need in a way that's cohesive and beneficial for them and the business.
Absolutely. There you go.
That's the lesson this week.
You heard it from the master.
There you go. So that's what I wanted to make sure everyone got today out of this conversation. We have 2 examples, teachable moments, if you will. If you guys enjoyed that, please give us a thumbs up, hit the heart, hit the like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the social media. Provide us some feedback. If you think I'm on the right track, the wrong track, or if you have examples of corporate culture, good and bad, that you want us to talk about on the program, absolutely hit us in the comments, however you found the podcast or the video, because we will definitely take those examples and talk about them in future episodes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, again, like, subscribe, leave a review, do all those great things, tell a friend about the Neo Marketing Podcast, and pay attention to your people to develop corporate culture.
Bam.
Until next time, good luck.
Ciao.
This has been the Golden Group Neo Marketing Podcast. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Tell a friend, leave a review, and engage with us on social media. Thanks for listening.